So welcome to the second lesson in your virtual art experience this year with Lily, Made to Create. Now this second lesson is making a color wheel, and we're basically going to learn that using the primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, actually if those are the only three colors you could buy, you could paint a wonderful picture, because from those three colors you can make an amazing number of colors. And we're going to learn how to basically make the secondary colors green, orange, and purple from the primary colors. But I want to show you something. It's not as elementary as we always go, oh, that's just for little children. Not really. I love the color wheel, and I found how much great artists love the color wheel. Here's a Renaissance artist using the color wheel as experimenting, and I want you to know that they made their own color wheel, then they decorated it with a great deal of respect and probably reference to this color wheel. I love this color wheel. Here is yet another artist's color wheel. I believe this is from the 19th century, and you can see that this was used a lot. It's weathered. It's kind of an interesting little visual piece in itself. Then we have this I got off Shutterstock. It's just a lovely expression of bold color using the color wheel. So it's in a way, it's a nice little painting. And this kind of comes back full circle, back to elementary school, but what a creative idea. Some child came up with tracing their three hands in a triangle to use the primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, and then mixing those colors to make the secondary colors. So I actually really value the color wheel. And what we're going to do today, that the color wheel will be a great tool for learning, is this. You're going to learn about the colors, but you're also going to learn a little more of using and controlling your brush and loading your brush, as we talked about loading your brush with paint. So what I would like to do is ask you to get paper, pencil, your colors in your tray, your brushes, and your water cups, and we will be starting. If you don't have all that together, get that and pause. Okay, so the emphasis here is not on exactness but on color. So what I mean by that is I'm just going to sketch out lightly a triangle here facing the top of my paper, a triangle here facing your left hand side, my right hand side, and a triangle here. Now this is going to be primary color, primary color, primary color, and in between each of those I will mix the secondary color. So let's go in and put a 1 in each of those, so we'll know that that is a primary color that is going to mix these 2's, the secondary color. Okay, so this will be red, this will be blue, and this will be yellow. Red and yellow mixed together will make orange. Red and blue mixed together will make violet or purple. And blue and yellow mixed together will make green. So let's start first by using our fantastic Daniel Smith colors, and let's start just making a really good blue. And I'm going to use the ultramarine blue again. So I'm using fresh water in my clean water cup. I want to keep my ultramarine blue here clean. I'm going to do some great mixing over here. So I'm getting that pigment in there, and now I'm adding water, and I'm just going to test my pigment. I would like it to be a little bit more, have more pigment in it. I still want it to be transparent, but I want it a little darker than that. When it's completely dark and you can't see the paper through, that's called opaque. Rarely are we going to use a completely dark color in watercolor. Sometimes we do, but rarely. Okay, so I'm filling in my primary color blue just real quickly. That's it, just fast as I can. Now if you could enjoy and relax and take some time with this, I'm going to clean my brush in my dirty brush water, and now I am going to use the crimson red is what I would call it. It has a much fancier name, but I'm going to call it, and I'm going to put it in my palette. I'm dipping into the crimson. You can see, wow, is that opaque right now? If I do that, you can see how dark that is. I want more water in it than that. So I'm going to take my red, add a little more clean water into that red, And I'm going to find, there's my primary red. I'm going to quickly paint that. But here, the magic is about ready to happen. Now I want to clean this red brush really good in my dirty water. Yellow is the hardest to keep clean, but not really. Now after I do that, I'm going to wipe it on my sponge. Here's my sponge. And I'm going to go for clean water. I'm going to dip in the bright yellow. That's what I want to use here. The more lemony yellow of my Daniel Smith. And I'm going to test. Yes, it's good. I tested on my paper. So I'm going to go over here and quickly paint in the yellow. Now comes the blast. I'm going to take my yellow and I'm going to mix it with the blue, and I'm going to come up with my own green here. Okay? I want to mix a little more blue up. So I'm dipping in. I cleaned my brush in my dirty water. I dipped into some fresh. There's my blue. And I'm going to pull some of that blue over to the middle of my palette. Good bunch of it. Clean my brush again. I put it in the wrong water, guys. I have to remember myself. And I'm going to take some of this yellow. Oh, I love it. Okay, we're getting to the green. Yellow and blue making a beautiful green here. And I think it needs a little more blue. Let's test it on the watercolor paper. It's good. So I'm going to go in here with my green, my yellow, and I'm going to overlap a little bit. I just want a pure green in the middle. If it overlaps my yellow or my blue, that's fine. Now the fun of making orange. Okay, so I'm cleaning my brush again, cleaning it off on the sponge. I'm getting more of that yellow because it's going to be yellow and red. Pull some of that yellow over here. Add a little bit of water. Clean my brush again. Wipe it off on the sponge. Get a little more of that crimson red. I'm mixing up some more red. Now I'm going to pull that over here and let's get, okay, that's a great orange. Let's look at it for a second. It's a little bit red orange. I want it to be more pure orange. If it's red orange, which color do you think I ought to add? You're right if you thought yellow. It needs a little more yellow to make it a pure orange. So I'm going to get some more yellow out of here. Even dip a little bit on my brush. Mix it together. Okay, there we go. We've got a great orange there. So there's your crimson red and your bright yellow mixed together to make. And notice how transparent it is. You can see the color, you can see the pigment, but it is definitely like looking through glass. I want you to get in the habit of doing that, using your watercolors with a glass-like look. Okay, now purple, my favorite to mix. Get a little more blue. Pull that over into my palette. Get a little more red. Pull that over into my palette. Now there's the purple I'm going to make. Oh my gosh, it's a good purple. Now let's just double check it. I love it. It's a reddish purple. You know what? I'm just going to add a dab of blue right onto here and see what happens. Yep, more purple. It went to more of a grape purple. Yep, that's what we want. And if it's still not purple enough for you, if it's too red, I'm adding a little more blue just to see what happens. There we go. I just mixed right on my paper. Okay, there's your color wheel. I would like you to take the fun of doing that, and I'll see you at the next lesson.